If you are between the ages of 60 and 80 and you are still able to perform these extraordinary activities, you have a good chance of living to be 100 years old. Older adults' health. Did you know that if you are able to accomplish this in your 90s, you have a chance of living to be 100 years old? There is a natural tendency to wonder, as we become older, whether we are slowing down too soon or whether we are still carrying the spark that will carry us to the age of 90 or even 100. The truth is that the way you move, think, and conduct your life sends subtle but powerful signals that reveal a great deal more about your future than you might anticipate. Men and women in their 60s, 70s, and even early 80s who ever find themselves wondering, "Am I aging well?" are the target audience for this film. There is a possibility that you will be shocked to discover that the answer is not in elaborate medical procedures or difficult routines, but rather in activities that you are already performing without even giving it a second thought. This video will lead you through 7 distinct clues that you may be one of the rare gems that not only age gracefully but also have a statistically higher likelihood of living to the age of 100. The way you walk and the way your brain stores words are not gimmicks or fads. They are things that you have control over. They are measured, scientifically verified, and frequently disregarded. There is more to it than just a stroke of luck if you find yourself ticking off even a handful of them. There is evidence that your mind and body are working in surprising ways that are not immediately obvious. Be sure to stay listened until the very end, since not only will these signals assist you in determining how well you are aging, but they may also alter the way you perceive your own future circumstances. You are deserving of becoming aware of the true extent of your strength. And the process begins right here. Having the capacity to walk rapidly and steadily is the first requirement. How you walk is one of the most obvious signs that you are getting older than you should be. Not only does it depend on whether or not you are able to walk around without assistance, but it also depends on the pace, rhythm, and balance that you do naturally. It may appear to be nothing special, but to those who research the process of aging, a brisk and steady walk conveys a much more profound message. A large number of studies have found a correlation between the speed at which one walks and the average lifespan. According to statistical analysis, elderly people who walk at a natural rate of approximately 3 feet per second, which is roughly equivalent to the speed at which one can confidently cross a street, have a greater chance of reaching their 90s or even reaching 100 years of age. However, why is the speed at which one walks so important? There is more to it than just your legs. It provides a glimpse of the overall operation of your body. Give it some thought. Your muscles need to be strong. Your heart needs to be pounding properly. Your brain needs to remain sharp enough to estimate space and speed. And your nerves need to be operating in perfect coordination in order for you to be able to walk quickly without any difficulty. You are demonstrating that various internal systems are in good shape if you are still able to accomplish it in a natural manner. This is because it is a full-body performance. As an illustration, Frank, a retired school principal from Michigan who was 78 years old, never gave his daily strolls any thought. Walking to the corner store, visiting with neighbors, and fetching the mail were all activities that he enjoyed doing. It was not until his physician pointed out that his speed was extraordinary for someone of his age that he became aware of the fact that something more profound was taking place. The straightforward observation resulted in additional praise during his annual physical examination. He had a healthy heart, brain, and blood pressure, all of which were in fantastic condition. Despite the fact that Frank was not attempting to prove anything, his body was able to tell the narrative before other tests could. Whether you are able to walk without hesitating, manage uneven ground, carry groceries, or climb stairs without pausing to catch your breath, you are displaying more than just strength. You have demonstrated a high level of vigor, coordination, and endurance, and maybe even more importantly, you are doing it in a manner that gives the impression that your body has maintained its youthful capacity for repair and recovery during the process. After the age of 70, the majority of individuals begin to lose touch with the systems that are responsible for the hidden mechanics of longevity. Consequently, the next time you go for a stroll in the morning, pay attention to how you move. It is important not to undervalue the information that your steps convey about you if they are flowing. Your pace is natural, and your body is balanced. At first glance, it may appear to be uncomplicated. Nevertheless, it is actually a manifestation of a quiet and powerful resilience that very few individuals are able to keep far into their senior years. Second, the ability to stand up from the ground without the assistance of another person. If you are able to get up from the floor without utilizing your hands, knees, or furniture, this may not seem like a huge issue, but in the realm of aging, it is a very important symptom. Balance, leg strength, joint flexibility, and core stability are all brought together in a single dynamic through the execution of one single action. You are a member of a select few if you are over the age of 60 and are still able to perform this task with ease. Researchers from all over the world have conducted studies on this action, which is commonly referred to as the sight raise test. They have repeatedly discovered that individuals who are able to accomplish it without any assistance have a considerably higher probability of living for a longer period of time. How come? Because mobility is not the only factor to consider. What matters is what your body does in the background. The amount of muscle you have, how well you can coordinate your movements, how well you can avoid falling, and how long it takes you to recover if something goes wrong. Let us take into consideration James, a former firefighter from Oregon who is now 74 years old. Even today, he continues to perform some morning stretching and strength training exercises in the living room of his home. When he was sitting on the carpet, his granddaughter approached him and asked him to play a game with her. She expressed her surprise and added, "Grandpa, you moved like a ninja." This occurred when he stood up without thinking beforehand. In retrospect, he understood that the majority of his buddies had a difficult time laughing at the same time. It was necessary for them to have a hand, a chair, or to roll over uncomfortably. The issue was not one of pride. It was a matter of abilities. Unexpectedly, this seemingly insignificant deed can end up being a lifesaver. Imagine you are in your own home and you fall. You can find yourself in a bind if you are unable to rise on your own. Regaining control, avoiding panic, and preventing the kind of emergency that could swiftly lead to hospitalization are all things that can be accomplished if you are able to. Getting up from the ground reveals the amount of strength that your body has been keeping hidden from you. This is the deeper truth. Thigh muscles that are strong, hips that are solid, joints that are supple, and a core that is stable are all developed in those few seconds. In addition, this is a significant indicator of the state of health of your complete musculoskeletal system. I would appreciate it if you could leave a comment number 2 below to let me know that you are continuing watching this video and that you find these particular insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The ability to have a restful night's sleep without the use of any drugs. Aging is frequently accompanied by a plethora of sleep problems. Many individuals have the misconception that tossing and turning throughout the night is a natural part of the aging process. Nevertheless, if you are in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s and you are still able to get a good night's sleep without the assistance of sleeping medications, you are a very exceptional individual. There is more to getting a good night's sleep than merely resting. It goes back to repairing. During the time when you are sleeping, your body is a deity. Cells are being repaired, hormones are being balanced, inflammation is being reduced, and waste is even being removed from your brain by this process. Therefore, if you are able to sleep in a natural manner and wake up feeling rejuvenated, this indicates that your body is still functioning in harmony on a far deeper level within itself. That is of much greater significance than the majority of people understand. Allow me to introduce you to Harold, a retired mechanic from Michigan who is 81 years old. A soothing ritual is something that he does every night. Before going to bed at 9:30 o'clock, I will have a cup of warm chamomile tea, a little bit of calm reading, and then I will go to bed. Harold is able to sleep through the night without the use of any over-the-counter or prescription sleep aids. In contrast to many of his contemporaries who choose to rely on these methods. When he wakes up around 5:30, he is alert, full of energy, and is not groggy in any way, in spite of the fact that he does not consider this to be a superpower. In actuality, it is that your neurological system, your stress response, and your circadian cycle are all in sync is indicated by the fact that you are able to sleep without the use of any medicine. And that is not a trivial accomplishment. As we become older, our bodies become more sensitive. Our bodies start to react to even the smallest of disturbances. Medication, an unhealthy diet, feelings of isolation, and anxiety are all factors that might disrupt sleep. Because of this, if you are still able to get a good night's sleep without taking any drugs, your body is aware that you are doing something correctly. Of far more significance is the connection that exists between sleep and the health of the brain over the long run. A significant correlation has been established between chronic sleep deprivation in older persons and cognitive impairment as well as dementia. According to the findings of researchers, deep natural sleep, on the other hand, can assist in the preservation of memory, decision-making abilities, and emotional equilibrium. Quite a few elderly people are unaware of how much, during the day, their behaviors at night have an impact on their life. Having a good night's sleep is associated with improved eating habits, more physical activity, and a more upbeat disposition. You are able to think clearly, deal with stress more effectively, and maintain engaged social relationships. Every single one of these is a sign of a life that is robust and resilient. Consequently, you should be grateful if you are someone who is still capable of falling asleep without assistance, remaining asleep throughout the night, and waking up feeling refreshed. In other words, it indicates that your body is still in harmony with itself and is still working behind the scenes to provide you with the best possible possibility of reaching the age of 100. Not just in terms of years, but also in terms of quality. Keeping a genuine curiosity about life is the fourth ability that it is important to have. Despite the fact that it may appear to be a trivial trait, curiosity is actually one of the most effective indicators that an individual is maturing in a healthy manner. When a person between the ages of 60 and 80 continues to sense a genuine interest in new ideas, the individuals or experiences that ignite their curiosity reveal more about their future than any laboratory test could ever hope to reveal. Please allow me to introduce you to Eleanor, a widow who is 78 years old and lives in Oregon. She begins each day by reading a chapter from a book that she has never read before. Whether it be a work of fiction, science, history, or anything else that comes to her mind that day, at the end of each month, she enrolls in an online course, which may be on art history, gardening, or astronomy, depending on the circumstances. It is not enough for her to simply sit and watch her grandchildren play when they come to visit. She is curious, she participates in their games, and she pays great attention to what they have to say. This is not merely a means of passing the time to you. In every meaning of the term, it is about ensuring that you continue to be alive. In contrast to the common perception that becoming older means slowing down or giving up on new challenges, curiosity really has the opposite effect. In addition to keeping your heart open and your soul young, it also maintains your brain flexible. When you continue to keep asking questions, discovering new hobbies, or wondering how something works, you are providing your brain with a workout that is just as necessary as walking a mile every day. And now we come to the most interesting section. Researchers have shown a correlation between curiosity and a reduced chance of developing chronic diseases, an enhanced immune response, and greater psychological health. Researchers believe that when you are curious, your brain creates more dopamine, which is the neurotransmitter that makes you feel motivated, joyful, and focused. Their findings support this hypothesis. In addition, this chemical assists in the preservation of brain connections, which is an essential component in the prevention of memory loss and cognitive decline. Being curious does not require you to go on an adventure around the world or to learn a new language. The brain can be stimulated in ways that protect and maintain it over time by even the smallest of activities, such as asking someone about their childhood, reading an article on a subject that you have never investigated, or doing something as simple as attempting a new dish. There are a lot of elderly people who lose interest in life, and they frequently begin to deteriorate more quickly. This is not because their bodies give up, but rather because their minds do. They stop taking pleasure in discovering new things. They stop wondering why or how, and gradually the light begins to wane. That light, however, continues to shine brightly when you continue to be engaged, when you continue to wonder, and when you continue to look forward to learning something new. If you are above the age of 60 and you still find yourself wanting to learn something new, eager to solve a challenge, or just enjoy listening to someone's story, you should not ignore the fact that you still feel it. It is not only an indication of having a healthy mental state. In other words, it is a sign that your brain is still hungry, still thriving, and continuously seeking forward, which is precisely what keeps people going strong toward the age of 100. I would appreciate it if you could leave a remark number 4 below to let me know that you are still visiting this page and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. 5th, the ability to gracefully deal with emotional setbacks and the strength to do so. A silent form of strength is one that does not manifest itself in the amount of weight that you are able to lift or the number of steps that you take on a daily basis. When life does not go the way you want it to, when people disappoint you, when your health concerns you, when someone close to you passes away, or when your plans fail to come together despite your best efforts, it manifests itself in the manner that you approach these situations. If you are beyond the age of 60 and you are still able to confront these situations without feeling resentful, withdrawing, or overwhelmed, then the strength that you possess is significantly more potent than the majority considers it to be. Give me a moment to tell you about Harold. His age is now 81, and over the course of the last 10 years, he has endured more than his fair share of emotional distress. He had to give up the house that he and his wife had shared for the past half-century, have a major operation, and lose his wife. On the other hand, Harold never managed to isolate himself from the world. He continues to write letters to his pals. He continues to attend his weekly breakfast group. And most importantly, he continues to listen to others, smile frequently, and find value in the smallest of moments, such as the dog of his neighbor coming up to him or the warmth of the early sun shining through his window. The fact that this kind of emotional resilience not only helps you make it through the challenging times, but it also helps you live for a longer period of time is what makes it so extraordinary. Multiple studies have demonstrated that older persons who are able to keep their emotional stability in the face of adversity are more likely to experience lower levels of inflammation, a reduced risk of developing chronic illnesses, and even lower mortality rates. This is due to the fact that the mind and the body are intimately intertwined to a greater extent than we sometimes give them credit for. When you have a stable emotional world, your physical health will typically follow on its heels. On the other hand, it is not all about putting on a pleasant front all the time. It is about being truthful with yourself, experiencing the pain when it comes, and then figuring out a way to go on without allowing that pain to define who you are. People who are able to do that in their older years, who are able to cry and still find thankfulness, and who are able to accept limits without giving up joy or displaying one of the rarest and most beautiful indicators of aging successfully. You are carrying one of the most valuable characteristics of a person who is destined for a long and meaningful life if you discover that you are still able to feel profoundly, process your feelings, and bounce back with compassion for both yourself and others. You are not evading the challenges that life throws to you. Despite the fact that you are gaining knowledge from them, you have decided to proceed nevertheless. The demonstration of emotional maturity of this kind is not merely a sign of strength. It is a manifestation of a certain kind of grace that safeguards your heart, maintains your mind, and serves as a reminder to others around you of what genuine aging looks like. Not only as one becomes older, but also as one becomes wiser. Lastly, some thoughts. Therefore, there should be no more. People have a tendency to hurry to tally the number of miles you can walk, the number of drugs you avoid taking, or the number of friends you still have while discussions about aging well are taking place. However, actual longevity is more than that. The decisions you make when no one is looking are where you will find it. It is in the manner in which you wear your years with composure, strength, and a stealthy desire to continue learning, continuing to love, and continuing to move forward. The 5 indicators that we discussed today, namely your equilibrium, your grip strength, your feeling of purpose, your cognitive sharpness, and your emotional resilience, are not only arbitrary pieces of information regarding your health, regardless of the decade you are now in. They are a reflection of something more profound, namely your willingness to continue to be involved in life. It is possible that you are unaware of how remarkable that is. It is not possible for everyone to reach this point while still possessing those abilities. And if you do, then you are, without a doubt, a precious gem, one of the few people who, as time goes on, not only mature but also get more robust, more knowledgeable, and more dynamic as time goes on. If you have recognized even one of these indicators in yourself, you should take a minute to reflect on how far you have come and appreciate these signs. Getting older does not mean being less noticeable, rather, it means becoming more refined. You have gone through storms, but here you are, still standing, still giving, and still demonstrating to others what it is to age with dignity. Therefore, I extend to you an invitation to rejoice in your powerful qualities, to cultivate them, and to never forget how valuable you are. Each and every action you take to become more self-aware, as well as each and every attempt you make to continue learning and caring, is more important than you likely realize. There should be more people like you in the world. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.